This is how I got our dog to stop pulling on the leash in 3 simple steps. Now, step 1 is condition the leash. Step 2 is gradually increase distractions. And step 3 is practice real world scenarios. Now that we've gotten those out of the way, do you feel like you can successfully help your dog from pulling on the leash? Probably not. And that is perfectly fine and expected. So make sure you hold tight or save if you cannot sit here and watch any longer, because I promise you the information provided in this video is going to blow your mind. Let's talk about conditioning the leash. This really just means that I want my dog to associate that the leash is something positive. It comes with training, it comes with going on walks, it comes with doing things, and it always comes with rewards, right? That's the overall goal here, is to make the leash something positive, at least in your dog's mind. Now here you can see that we are inside of a bathroom, because this is one of the most quietest places with least distractions that I can possibly find. And I take this moment to really start to condition the leash. I put the leash down on a mat and I put some treats around the leash. My dog then decides that he's gonna go investigate, kind of eat these treats, nuzzle around, bury his face a little bit, and really get accustomed to the fact that the leash isn't doing anything. There's nothing coming from it except the positive treats. So this is so far pretty awesome. This is where consistency comes in, because the more you train consistently, the better you and your dog will get at what you're trying to learn. I go even as far as conditioning different leashes to mean different things. So if I bring out the long leash, they know that it's playtime outside. If I bring out the leash that is the blue 10-foot one, they get to sniff around. And then if I bring out the short blue leash, they know that it's time for training. Now, an introduction is more than just, hey, look at this thing, it's cool, here's some treats. It also includes actively clipping on the leash to the collar, and it also includes walking around inside of the house with the leash on. This is all just getting conditioned to the leash itself, from everything from the sounds it makes to the weight it feels on their neck to actively being around them or near them. Now, number 2 is gradually increase distractions. And this is something that is going to be lasting a long, long time, right? It doesn't mean that you won't get to step 3. It just means that there's lots of options for you to continue to practice step 2 to just get super good at it, right? So what we're really looking for here is practicing something the dog is really good at with an distraction. If it's sight, sound, smell. Now, I would always use things that my dogs don't care about first, sounds and sights and smells that they just could care less, because I want them to achieve that calmness so that I can reward it, instead of trying to use sounds that might cause a reaction and then in turn just allowing my dog to practice that behavior when in fact it's not needed, right? Now, when you deal with distractions, you slowly advance, right? You always want to make sure that you're not adding a lot at once, because that is overwhelming, right? This video is probably overwhelming and most people have saved by now, but you are still on here, which is great because it tells me that you are really, really invested in what this training can do for you. Some of the distractions that I used were sounds off of YouTube and other things around the house that we typically do from day to day, like vacuums or the shampooer or the dishwasher machine or the washer machine or the timers, anything like that. I also like to open up windows a little bit so I can get some sounds in, so I can get some smells in from the outside, but still be in the comfort of our home. Distractions is slowly introducing one thing at a time to the point where we can get outside, right? That's the whole end goal, but we're just preparing our dog for that experience. Now, step number 3 is practicing in real world scenarios. Now, the trick with this is we don't want to start in places where there's heavy traffic, right? Lots of people, cars, sounds, dogs, whatever. We want to choose somewhere that is relatively quiet, not a lot going on, because at the end of the day, it may seem empty and bare like a location does to you, but to your dog, their nose is going bonkers. Everything that has ever been there, they are experiencing in that very moment. So I promise you, your dog is getting more than enough mental stimulation from a quiet location. Now, when I'm going to that new location, I'm going to implement all of the steps we did in the beginning inside of the home. So now we're going to introduce the leash again. Now I'm going to clip it on and reward again. Now I'm going to have my dog next to me and reward heavily on my right side to remind my dog that although we haven't practiced it in this area and this location, this is what we need to do. And because we practiced it a lot inside, we're gonna be a lot quicker at learning it outside. And keep in mind, just because they learn it inside doesn't mean they're gonna know it outside. Every time that you feel like your dog has mastered that location, you can always decrease the distance from the trigger itself. And that's going to be an additional challenge for your dog. But keep in mind, if you move forward and your dog starts reacting, you're just not ready. Just move back. It's always about starting at step one every single time that you add in a new element. So then that way your dog is more prepared and more able to succeed. Now stick around, don't leave yet. I have 4 tips that you definitely need to know about. Number 1 is consistency is key. Number 2 is all about patience. My 3rd tip is to use positive reinforcement. They love it. And the 4th, but most important, do not use your verbal or your nonverbal cues to teach something. Teach the action first. Praise it with those rewards. Get that action to happen all by itself, and then put a name to it or a sign to it. I wish you lots of luck. Bye!